Next up, we have the men's women's mixed youth inclusive double A final. So we've got 4 entries into this race, looking over from lane 2 to lane 5. So reading this from right to left, we have the crew from Triangle. And then we have Atlanta Juniors, lane 4 Conestoga, and lane 5 South Jersey.
Out on the course in these doubles, we do have parts of the crews that placed in this event last year. So looking in lane 3, the crew from Atlanta Juniors, they won this event last year, and Allmeyer was in this event last year as well. So that's half of the crew for Atlanta Juniors who did win this event. And then you have Wang out of Conestoga as well, who is half of the 3rd place crew in this event from last year. So some repeat experience here at the Youth Rowing National Championships for those athletes in these doubles.
And it was interesting. I popped up on my Instagram a little feature on Allmeyer, actually. At the beginning of this regatta, this athlete has doubled up into one of the 8s for Atlanta Juniors in this event. So this athlete is doubling up and in the double. So double. Love to see it. This visually impaired athlete is very excited to have gotten into this sport. He expressed how much he loves to be able to share this moment to be outside with his teammates and be able to pick up this sport. A great, funny interview. I definitely recommend you watch it. He's definitely caught the rowing bug, is interested to try to advance within the system. Understanding probably a little bit young to have a spot for the Paris 2024 games, but does have high hopes for the LA 2028 games of the Paralympic Games to include his spot in the Paralympic.
And you said double and 8.
The double and 8.
Double and 8, so sculling and sweeping. So
I'm
going after
a doubles, doubling up in a double and double threat.
Double threat, right? Double threat. If you can both scull and sweep, and if you sweep and you row both sides, then that just gives you opportunities in more seats in more boats.
Mm-hmm.
It just opens up the opportunities for you to be to make fast boats fast.
Yes, and as we see here, so we have got a great shot here of that crew, of that Atlanta Juniors crew. They're in stroke seat, I believe is Allmeyer, and these two charging down the course. Either side of them, they're going to have a Triangle, lane 2, Conestoga, in lane 4 and lane 5, South Jersey. But it does look like that experience of having been in this class before, the Atlanta Junior crew out ahead in this men's women's mixed youth inclusive double A final.
And being out ahead in this event, this is a place that they've been at least once before, having been there last year. The Atlanta Juniors with half of this crew, the same from last year. So being out in front again on the same waterway, because 6 of the last 8 youth national championships have been held here over of course, the last 9 years, with the exception of 2020. So in 9 years, 8 been held, 6 here on this waterway.
Yes, a wealth of experience. It definitely pays off to have had that extra run down the course, and run they have. Great send out of this crew. You can kind of see as the blades are released out of the water, the boat just floating past them. So honestly, you're moving yourself past a point in the water instead of running up to the catch. So a great execution of that technical aspect in this double.
I was about to say, right at that release, it's a very distinct release, allowing the boat to do some work in between, so that exactly as you were saying, as I was looking at it, I'm thinking it, and then you start to say it. Love it.
I can feel myself being in this boat. The double, a very hard boat class for me to execute well, but these two doing a fantastic job. They are just, they're killing it out there.
Currently, as we can see from, although it's out of your picture, as we can see from the tower, this beautiful vantage point that we have, it is the crew out of Conestoga, who placed in 3rd last year, who is currently sitting in 2nd place. Behind them is on the far side the crew out of Triangle with the orange colors. You can kind of see that glinting on the sun if you were on the beach. That's Triangle in 3rd, with the crew from South Jersey in lane 5, currently sitting in 4th place. Right now, Allemeyer and Link out in front for Atlanta Juniors, followed by Wang and Carvalhal out of Conestoga. And then again, you have Triangle over on the far side, followed by South Jersey. About to get into the last 250 meters is the crew from Atlanta Juniors. That is the double from Atlanta Juniors. You can still see how their boat just runs out between strokes, distinct push, and then it runs out, and then off again, they go to do it again. So you expect them to find their sprint here as those red buoys arise, and sure enough, here they go. They are elevating and lifting the boat speed through their efforts, maybe changing, dialing in the technique, making sure they're staying nice and tidy so that that effort truly pays off as the finish line approaches, and they close in on it stroke per stroke. Just the last 200 meters or so to go for that crew from Atlanta Juniors.
And as they charge down the line, again, you've said they've been in this position before. They are in a winning position to take home the trophy for the men's women's mixed youth inclusive double A final. They are out ahead. Look at them go. They're in the last 10 strokes of this race. They are pushing and charging all the way down to the line. Squeezing it out, I imagine that this is, they're going to compare their times from last year, see what kind of improvement they've made. And again, that is the national champion out of Atlanta Juniors for the men's, women's mixed youth inclusive double A final, Allemeyer and Link. Next, then, we've got the crew out of Conestoga. Now, they are there in their striped unis here. They are now coming into the last 10 strokes of this race to take the second place position. Again, the second national champions here in the men's, women's mixed youth inclusive double.